as I'm still dealing with stuff, driving to work today. 3 houses. Holiday lights up.
Oh, man. Show
early.
me which houses so I can go and knock and tell them great job.
Oh.
Great job out of them.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey, you know what? You know what feel free to do, Hal? Smile.
Oh, I smile.
Okay?
I don't need the ancillary.
You should smile a little more.
I don't need.
Smile.
I don't need the ancillary Christmas
Smile.
lights to get me happy.
All right. I was going to say, how many?
I do.
Yeah.
I need Christmas lights and candles. I went to the mall yesterday.
I saw your candles.
Man, I was at the mall yesterday in Anthropologie, and all the Christmas stuff was up, and I smelled it, and I saw the cards, and I literally sat there like welling up with tears. I was so happy. I was like, we're finally here.
Let me ask you a question. When you were in the mall checking out all the stuff, did you hear a lot of Thanksgiving songs?
You know, it's the darndest thing.
Yeah,
Like I didn't see Thanksgiving clause in the middle of the
Thanksgiving clause, the turkey. You can sit on the turkey's lap.
Tomatoes, potatoes,
make a wish.
I can't think of an animal I'd like to interact with less up close than a turkey.
By the way, to all the PR people sending me Thanksgiving emails, stop it. Like these. Hey, Trey, did you know Americans are going to spend $960 billion?
Oh, you getting that?
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Don't care. Don't care. Jay Cutler here. Don't care.
See,
There
you'd
you
rather
go.
be getting the Christmas emails
right.
like me,
Exactly right.
Fact, you worked me into your side.
How about that?
You Golics. Damn you. So it was Christmas came early last night for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Hey, how about that rim shot, Cliff? Thank you. Boom. Because they played Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers was Santa. Here, you have one. Here, you have one. Here, you have one. As at Estadio Azteca, which, by the way, is the greatest stadium name you can just say.
It is pretty good.
Estadio Azteca.
I don't know if you have to yell it, but that's
well,
okay.
you know, I was
Un
excited.
partido de fútbol, Estadio Azteca.
I'm bad at all that.
Football Americano. As the Kansas City Chiefs took down the Phillip Rivers-led LA Chargers 24-17. And what if I told you in full 30 for 30 voice, what if I told you that Hall of Famer Patrick Mahomes would have his career low in passing yards? Would you say the Chiefs would win that game? I don't think so. And that's, Junior, why I think this game was important. The Chiefs found a different way to win besides using the superhuman strengths and powers and all-knowing master of time, space, and dimension than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, that way to win was, and you can give them credit. It was the 4 turnovers. That's the beginning, middle, and end of how this game went down for them. And you can give them credit for it. Frank Clark forcing a fumble that they called an interception.
Right.
Tyrann Mathieu had the early pick there. Obviously, the game-sealing interception on that final drive. So it's not like Kansas City's defense didn't work hard, and that was something we had talked about that I'd heard Dominique Foxworth bring up, which is if you're going to be that bad as Kansas City is giving up yardage, you've got to be good in the red zone. You've got to try and force turnovers, and they did both of those things last night.
So just to put numbers to that, the the LA Chargers had over 300 yards of offense in the first half and 9 points.
A lot of it, Dawson.
3 or 4 on field goals, and Phillip Rivers had 2 of his 4 interceptions in the first half. They were actually losing. The Chargers outgained the Chiefs by 203 yards in the first half, but trailed. It's the largest halftime yards differential by a team trailing a half since 1981. And to your point, Trey, I agree. You find a different way to win, but this will never work once you get to the playoffs.
No, of course not.
This will never work against the top teams in the AFC. They'll need Mahomes, who, kudos to them for adjusting. In the first half, he's averaging 11 yards per throw, and it's not working. Second half, he's averaging under 4 yards a throw. They shortened it up, shorter passes. He ended up leading the team in rushing. So I like the fact of the adjustments that they were making to end up taking a couple of score lead going into in the second half when they took over.
Obviously, a big part of that passing game not being there was Tyreek Hill, who basically was gone after, the first or second drive in that game.
And
with
then
a
lost
hamstring.
Damian Harris as well. They lost a running back too,
So, listen, there are going to be times during the season where you have to find a way to win.
Yeah.
And
Damian Williams.
I'm sorry, Damian Williams.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I thought you said
Damian Harris.
I said Damian Harris.
Yeah, just Damian Williams.
Damian Williams.
There you go. This is Patrick Mahomes basically saying, look, we needed to manufacture a win tonight, and we did.
We knew that someone was going to make a play to win the game, and if we just believed in each other, then we were going to win the game. And so that's a great football team, and we found a way to get a win and find a way to win against a division opponent.
And this was
It's
huge.
nice to say, but they're not a great football team.
Well,
the Chargers. I mean,
here's what you're right. They're 4-7.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone says that. You know, what I mean,
Sure,
they were a great football
great team.
They're a great team over there.
I get it.
It's like we always say, hey, we had a successful surgery. I'm still waiting for that. Well, we really botched that surgery. We have no idea what we did there. We'll figure that out.
The Chargers aren't a great team. Here's what the Chargers are. Yeah. This is the Chargers.
It's amazing.
Phillip Rivers, this is his 61st loss by 7 or fewer points as a starting quarterback, the most by a quarterback in the Super Bowl era. I'm not kidding you guys. Last night, I'm laying in bed, and these games are on late. We get up early, so I'm kind of nodding off.
Sure.
And I get that vibration from my phone, and it's a push notification from the NFL app, and it says, the Chargers have the ball back in a one-possession game versus the Chiefs. Watch the final minutes live now, and I went, click, because I've seen this one before, and I know how it ends every time. Phillip Rivers is perpetually down a score with about a minute 10 to go, 1 or 2 timeouts, about 60, 70 yards to go in the length of the field. And it always ends in the most backbreaking fashion possible.
You know what's amazing, too? That stat was put to actual number of passes to back that up.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes. When trailing by 7 or fewer in the final 2 minutes of his career, Phillip Rivers has thrown 253 passes in that situation. That's first. Second is Brett Favre with 219. Third is Drew Bledsoe with 211. So he leads, which makes sense.
Yeah.
With down a score, under 2 minutes, yes, the Chargers have the ball. That is the story, and the story on that side of it is we'll get into more.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers threw 4 interceptions. A couple I don't think were his fault. Certainly two for sure were, especially that last one underthrown to Eckler in the red zone when they were looking to tie the score.
Yeah, with 18 seconds left, they were still in this game. But here's why this was critical for Kansas City. They found a way to win this game. Then they have the bye week, late bye week. I mean, a bye week going into the first week of December is fantastic. Their next game will be December 1st, home game against the Raiders, the team that has won 3 straight, and obviously Jason Fitz carries the flag for on this show. But why that's important? Because if they took care of business last night, if they go ahead and take care of business, because they beat the they beat the Raiders in Oakland week 2, I think it was, of the season, where Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns in the second quarter alone. If they beat the Raiders, basically they would have to not win the rest of the season for them not to win the division, because the only team that's going to come close to them in winning that division would be the Raiders, and they would have the sweep.
Well, I mean, this isn't news. This was the expectation, right? I mean,
Correct.
It's not like it's, whoop-de-doo, even though you celebrate winning a division because that puts you in the playoffs, but this was the expectation all along.
Right, but my point is, with the way this thing is going, there's no guarantee on the wild card side for them. They need to win this division. They need to win this division. They need to win the division and have a home playoff game going forward. So that's the situation there. Again, Patrick Mahomes, really weird, career low passing yards in the game he starts and finishes, and then a career high rushing yards.
And I think that, to me, is the most encouraging part, is just how well Patrick Mahomes had moved.
Yes.
Even before the knee injury that ultimately ended up putting him off the field, we know that ankle injury had been bothering him. It had been rolled up on a couple of times. And we had said he hadn't been moving as well throughout all of this. He was moving great last night.
Yeah.
He looked about as healthy as he had in a while. And so if you're taking something into the bye, it's health. Because for them, it is the health of Tyreek Hill, which is certainly a huge part of that
is the
offense.
biggest concern.
The health of the offensive line up front, who has been missing Eric Fisher for a fair amount of the year, who's lost a couple of other parts. I know their center went down for a bit last night. I didn't see if he re-entered the game, but the protection and the weapons around Patrick Mahomes, while he is going to elevate you, whoever is out there, still the difference between them being a Super Bowl winning roster and just a team that ekes into the playoffs like this is that health.
And then it's how do you play them? Pat Mahomes, the reigning MVP, and we know how much firepower that offense has. His numbers last night, you mentioned, we're under 200, 182 yards, 19 to 32, very pedestrian numbers. So you look at how did the Chargers play them? The Chargers, in the 37 dropbacks, blitzed him once.
Not
time.
great, Bob.
It was, and it worked.
Yeah.
That's my point. It worked. I mean, they held Mahomes to one of the lowest of his career, only 2 times under 200 yards. It was the lowest blitz rate Mahomes has ever faced. And it worked as far as knocking down that high-powered offense.
And that's really how the Chargers have played this all year. They've been getting home with 4 thanks to Ingram and Bosa most of this season.
And that was what the Chargers did a lot of last year. Remember, their postseason run to the postseason was marked by putting 6 and 7 defensive backs on the field at once,
Correct.
leaning into a position group they've spent a ton of draft capital on. So that has been a strength for them, and it continues to be, and they showed it last night.
And they're looking forward to next season now after their 7th
Yes, they
loss
are.
of the year.
And there's
Coming up-
conversation about that.
Yes. What does that mean about the quarterback for the Chargers going forward? We'll get to that. Plus, someone's putting up numbers that compare to LeBron's, and it's not out of the realm to say, are we seeing the next thing like him? We'll get to that after this.
All right, I want to talk about Stamps.com. I'm always wondering who still goes to the post office and stands in line there. Stamps.com is going to bring the post office right to you. No need to interrupt your workday, especially now during the holidays when the post office gets extra busy. People sending those holiday cards and gifts. Don't go stand in line. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service right to your computer. Simply use your computer and print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Stamps.com is a no-brainer, saving you time and money. No wonder over 700,000 small businesses already use Stamps.com. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. No risk with our promo code, which is WINGO. You get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on that microphone at the top of the homepage, type in WINGO. That's Stamps.com, enter WINGO. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again. Back after this, Golic and Wingo.
Golic and Wingo